Hey guys, Katsuma Gaming here. Only a few more hours until our current banner, Outfit of the Weakest Recruit, goes away and the next banner drops. And it's none other than the next festival banner. By the way, if you are a new player, we say Fes for festival, this is short term, and this just means in the context of Konosuba Fantastic Days, legendary adventurer, because normally in gacha games there are always some kind of special festival banners that recur every X months or so, and that's pretty much what legendary adventurers are for us. So to have it shorter and not say legendary adventurer all the time, we just say festival, or in that case short Fes. With that out of the way, let's take a quick look at the two new units that are coming with the next banner. And the first one is, of course, my boy Dust. That's right, we are getting Fes Dust. And with that, we actually getting a good Dust once, finally. I feel bad saying that, but his previous units weren't that great if you look at that. I mean, his Dark unit was kind of good, but then you also probably saw that Dark is mostly mages, so even there he has like no chance to shine. So maybe this will be the unit that actually makes him shine. And before I actually take a quick look at Dust himself, a quick reminder that Dust's ultimate 2s got changed recently. His ulti 2 version 1 now deals 314% physical wind damage to one enemy and a party tier 2 agility boost to your whole team, plus a tier 3 physical defense down on the enemy. His ulti 2 version 2 deals more damage with 365% physical wind damage to one enemy with a self tier 3 physical attack buff and a self tier 3 agility buff. And that is pretty cool because either you can use him in theory as your speed boost unit by using his ulti 1 version 2 and also lowering the enemy's defense, so in a physical team you can provide some kind of context for a team, or if that stuff is not needed, you can just go with his ulti 2 version 2, deal more damage, get a higher physical attack buff for yourself and a higher speed boost for yourself. And if we take a quick reminder on what other good wind units we have, you know, Fes Rin for example, we already see that we have a unit that applies a tier 2 speed buff, so that just means that his ulti 1 version 2 in that context is not needed. But in case you don't have Fes Rin, or you actually want to run both Fes Dust with a Rashford unit and the other unit that we're talking about later, this ulti is a valid choice to use there and use him as a speed boost provider. So now finally time to take a quick look at his kit. First up, his passive trait is 6% physical attack up and a 10% ult damage boost, so that's even more ulti damage with his pretty decent damage multiplier. Then he has a 2x random physical attack that deals 185% damage 2 times and gives a self tier 2 ult damage buff. So you can see his ulti can do a lot of damage, especially if that crits. It's a pretty good nuke. Then the second skill is a single target physical attack with an HP condition if you are above 70% HP. And deals up to 205% damage with a self-gauge charge of 20%. And last but not least, he has a wind element basic physical attack. Yeah, what do we see here? The first thing we see is that he's a fully selfish unit. He's designed to be a big DPS unit to come in, do a lot of damage with a self-gauge up on a 90-second cooldown, so with a little bit of CDR it's actually pretty usable. He can use his ulti a lot. And then also boosts his ulti damage by quite a bit, so he's mostly there just to spam his ultis pretty much, which kind of fits with his ulti 2 version 1, which only has 12-second cooldown, or even his ulti 2 version 2 with a 14-second cooldown. You don't have to bust for that long, so you kind of need to get your ultis back up more sooner than later. So yeah, with that he fits right in that niche, and is a pretty good unit, I must say. It's probably the best Dust we will ever get. No, that's so far at least, and we are 1.5 years ahead in JP, so that says something. But he is a pretty good unit, and to be honest, if you get either of the two banner units, you are good to go. You can do a lot of stuff with Dust, you can do a lot of stuff with the other unit, which is enough teasing, you probably know it already, but it's the Fes Rin, that's right. No ulti changes for her, but you know, her ulti 1 version 2 is still pretty good up to date. And even if you don't need the buffs and the speed boost, so for example, if you actually run her with a Fes Rin, her ulti 1 is still a pretty decent damage multiplier for an AOE ulti. Okay, let's take a quick look at her kit. 7% magic attack boost, and a 6% wind damage boost is great. It's just great. Passive to have, no conditions, no nothing, just big damage, that's great. First skill is a single target magic attack skill with HP condition to deal up to 205% damage, and a tier 1 party wind damage buff. And you know what? Team elemental buffs are great to have. It is a second duration with an 18-second cooldown, so in theory 8-second downtime, but only until we take a look at your second skill. It's an AOE magic attack skill with 146% damage if you are 70% HP or above, and a 6-second CDR. That's right, not a 4-second, we actually have a 6-second CDR skill here on a 19-second cooldown, so in theory a 13-second cooldown, and it also means on the first skill you actually only have a 2-second downtime. So the moment you have any kind of bonus CDR on your team, Fes Quiz for example, you can keep the buff up the whole time, which is great to have. And with that, she's just one of the best wind units. I mean, her basic is kind of normal, it's like nothing too crazy, but she doesn't need that. Like an elemental damage buff and CDR is a great combo to have, together with, of course, an on-elemental ulti that can either buff or just do a lot of damage. That just makes her great to have and to use. And she's actually the one of the two units that actually is proven to be a long-lasting unit. For example, right now, actually in JP, we have a new Wind Arena, and in that Wind Arena, I am using this exact Fes Rin still. So she's still out there, she's still doing stuff for dust defense. How do I say without starting dumb? Let's just take a quick look at the tier list. And yes, of course, the tier list is updated. A new updated tier list video should be coming soon. But to be honest, only the meta units on Element and the strong units tier got updated. And if we take a quick look, we can see Fes Rin, of course, in the meta units on Element. And huh? Where's Dust? Oh no, he's only in strong units. Let me explain. Dust is a great physical attack wind unit. And that's also his biggest problem, that he's a physical unit. Most wind arenas are actually more mage-centric. And if you actually use a physical team, you can run Kazuma, Chris, Dust, and have great success to it. But the moment you have the choice, you can choose both, you probably tend to go towards mage team with how strong it is. And to be honest, in the future, wind mages just get better and better, especially with collaborations if we ever get them. And that just doesn't leave that much room for Dust. Like, I think we had 2 arenas where I actually used Dust in my JP account. The first was the one where he dropped, since I didn't have Rin. The top team, of course, used Rin. There were actually also some people who run the Fes Dust, Fes Rin, and Reshred, in that case, Singer Kazuma team to great success, don't get me wrong. I also ended top 50 with Fes Dust, so with how competitive JP is, that was really, really good, and I'm pretty sure he can get top 10 with Fes Dust in Global as well. Don't get me wrong here. And the second one was a little bit later when we actually had another physical arena where we could use him. But since there were only 2-3 arenas where we actually used him so far, I don't feel confident enough in putting him in the same tier as Rin, because Rin is just more future-proof, has more use, and with that, it's probably the better goal to pull for. Again, the moment you get either one of those, you should be happy. They're both great to have, and you can survive with Dust alone, that's totally fine. But if you can choose between which one you should get, you should probably just focus on Rin. Also, last reminder, don't pull too much, because as much as this banner is good, I'm still saying Center 4 or Center 5 are great options to pull. Right after that, we also get Forbidden, Wiz, and Union, and yes, all these units are also in the tier list already, so just check there if you want more info. But there are some other banners to pull for, so don't go too deep, is my recommendation. You probably want some pulls, at least save for Forbidden Wiz. At least for that. I probably just save most of my pulls for this banner and Forbidden. My current goal is, I think, like I said, like worst case 10 multis here, 10 multis here, and everything else goes into the Wiz banner, where I hope that I have by that point around another 10 pulls. Maybe I just actually go with like 5 pulls here, 10 pulls here, so that I have 50 more on those, because this is just how good it is. So I'm not going too deep, but I will be doing my polls live tomorrow on my Twitch and YouTube, twitch.tv/katsumagaming or youtube.com/@katsumagaming. And yeah, I hopefully see you all there. And one last reminder here for you guys who are curious about arena teams and what you can do. I want to just take a quick look at the Discord, because I actually did my work and prepared some data here, which is kind of cool to show. So if you didn't notice, in JP back then we had some data that we made about arenas, which units got used a lot and stuff like that. And this is like one of the images that we actually made back then for the arena. So you can see it's a spec arena that we currently have. The most popular team was actually Halloween Migu, Fes Chris, Fes Yellow, Fes Rin, and of course last but not least Pajama Melissa for the passive trade. If you don't have this Migu, we use Reagan Migu, but we don't have Reagan Migu, so the best option might just be Cafe Migu, with the other units being the same. If you don't have Fast Chris, you can use the team that I just said, with Fes Dust as the speed boost unit and Fes Rin as the other unit. So you can see there are different teams you can do, and if you're like, huh, where's the Dust team you talked about? Well, for that, we opened just this team here with the Discord rankings that we had then. And here you can see I just used the exact same team, but instead of Rin, I actually just used Dust here as a slot 4. I think I actually used Ciello's Ulti 2 version 2 to lower the enemy's defense to do even more damage with Dust. Though it was a little bit risky because the units could die. But you see, I did pretty well back then with that team. So yeah, these are some other teams that Discord people back then used. And I hope that helps you out with your decision on if you should pull, what you want to pull, and potentially already for arena. Also, last but not least here, arena guide should come potentially either tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on how fast I can vein grab my units, how fast I'm ready to show off the strat, and of course, how lucky I get with my pulls and what team I can even show off or not. But yeah, that was long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck with your summons. Hopefully see you tomorrow in the live stream. And until next time, bye bye.